Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV, and we have a new show for you guys. One that was actually made by someone in the comments. Actually, gave us the idea. I'm your host, Jem.
And I'm Lambs.
This is GNA TV.
Don't know how I'm here, and it's you that I want to need. You feel your heartbeat. You feel somewhere you're looking. You feel your heartbeat. You feel somewhere you're
Yes, people. Yes, this camera might look a bit weird at the moment. The reason I'm like this is because I'm using it off my phone rather from my laptop at the moment. Ads has unfortunately fell asleep. I can see there's 7 or 8 of you in here already. So please smash that like button. Please subscribe if you're new here of GNA TV. And please, can you share it on your socials as well? We're getting close to 1,000. I keep saying it. I feel like I'm repeating myself constantly, but we are close, guys. Lambs, how you doing? You all right?
I am not too bad. Like last week was a stressful week for me, so I'm ready to just put it behind me,
Yeah.
forward, and let's get it cracking.
Let's do this, people. So this show is all about we called it the What If Show. The What If Show meaning so that you guys understand and you can obviously get involved yourselves. Players that were ifs or buts, or for example, they were affected within their career. So it could be someone that was touted to be a world-class player, a top player, picks up a massive injury, and then his career kind of just spirals downhill. So we're going to talk about individual players that we think could have hit them heights, but was affected. It could have been the team they chose to go to. It doesn't have to just be injuries. It could be maybe the path of their career, for example, that maybe have affected it. Like I said, injuries. It could be that they're held back for other reasons, personal reasons, There is one next week that I'm going to share with you, which ain't actually to do with injuries. It's actually to do with a personal situation with the player, something he chose to do over football, for example. So it's what we call what ifs. Lambs. Should we delve into it? Do you want to start? Do you want to start this? Yeah.
Yeah. I want to start this off because I probably got some like weird controversial choices. I don't know, maybe you could argue because some people might think like, nah, like you're stretching, but I do think that I actually do think this player does actually have a shout because I feel like before this injury happened, he was doing his thing. He looked like he was going to be the next up and coming Iniesta for this club. The way that he was creating chances, scoring from midfield, assisting goals, like left, right, and centre. It literally looked, I literally thought I was seeing like another David Silva in the making, to be honest. Like he did have that kind of flair. And that player is Santi Cazorla for Arsenal. Yeah. So yeah, I just think, and for all those reasons that I listed prior before, I think this guy, he had it going on. He was creating chances, scoring chances. I think he had there was one brilliant season that he had with Arsenal, and that was the season where Mesut Ozil also kind of shined as well, because the partnership between them in midfield, it was magical to watch, and you could see like, oh, okay, if it wasn't for that injury, which I think kind of maybe affected the dynamic of Arsenal, and obviously them not being able to find a viable replacement after that, I think that's kind of when it could have been starting to get better, but
Yeah.
Now it's kind of on the decline. So I don't know what do you think? Do I have a shout? Is there a story? Like,
I
could he have
agree
been
with
the
you.
next David Silva?
Yeah. I mean, look, I've asked people in the comments, to give us your thoughts on Santi Cazorla as an individual. Was he someone that was affected by his injuries? Would he have gone on? Would he have been like the new maybe Iniesta, for example, which Lambs used at Arsenal? Now, a lot of people may disagree in the fact of the team he was at. Maybe that may have held him back a bit. Maybe he would have stayed at Arsenal if he was fit and never have gone to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, which potentially maybe he should have done if his career would have allowed him to, and he didn't pick up the injuries he did. If you think of someone like Santi Cazorla, I think I think he was a top quality player that excelled Arsenal into a better team overall. He had something that they missed when Cesc Fabregas left the club.
Yeah,
Um,
and
the
he got like,
yeah, the idea of being able to pick the ball up, look up, and distribute the ball, but he was also very skillful with the ball, and he was a good finisher. He was a good finisher, and Rams is right there. He was a top player. He was a top player at Arsenal. It's a shame for the Premier League and for Arsenal mainly that he
yeah,
did pick up this or sustain the injuries that he did in the long run. I actually think he could have been. Well, he would have been a Spain starter all day. He would have been playing with the David Silvas and maybe the Iniestas, etc., etc. I think he had so much talent, and the thing with him, he was so cool on the ball. If you watch him, he never panicked, and it was like Spanish players as a general. If you look at Iniesta and Xavi when at how they was at Barcelona. They're very comfortable on the ball. They're comfortable players, and I felt like back then, especially around that time, a lot of the Spanish players that were either playing for top English clubs or in Spain had this element of the game was easy. Is that the right word? Like they'd get the ball and they'd be able to distribute, spread, open up play, you know. And I feel like Cazorla was one of them players. And yeah, I think he's a big what if. What if Santi Cazorla didn't have them injuries? People, you in the chat, tell us: if Santi Cazorla didn't have them injuries, would he have excelled himself in his career? And do you think he would have become not world class? Because world class is I think it's a big bracket, but at least a top player. I think Arsenal might have struggled to hold on to him like they did with Sammy Nasri, Robin van Persie. If he was the real deal, who would have stopped the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona actually coming for him if he didn't sustain the injuries that he did? But Lambs, I agree, 101%. I think he's definitely a big what if on that one.
I think that's a really good point you touched on as well. Like, knowing Arsenal and their history of obviously having to sell their top up and coming players because of the financial woes they always seem to find themselves in when it comes to transfers, like sell players to get in like below par players basically, and it always kind of fell to them having to sell their best players. And he was on that level where he was so up and coming, where if he didn't get that injury, I don't think Arsenal could have actually held on to him. I think, like you said, a big team would have come in, sweeps for him, made Arsenal an offer they probably couldn't refuse, and they would have had to probably sell him, to be honest. And like you said, I think he would have been a starter easily for Spain. We could have probably seen him in the World Cup, and it's just actually such a shame because I feel like this is a guy who could have had such an amazing career if it wasn't for an injury. And we're sitting here sorting through what ifs, and that is a very serious possible what if, to be honest. What do you think about
Diaby as well? I mean, I think Diaby was touted when he was at Arsenal to become the new Patrick Vieira. I remember when he first came there, he used to be very comfortable on the ball. He used to be able to drive with the ball. He had the same frame as Patrick Vieira. He's very tall, skinny Frenchman. Very quick on the ball, long leg stride. Yeah, like he had the same potential. Yeah, Diaby. I think Diaby you could probably put in that bracket as well. But for me, Santi Cazorla was, especially at Arsenal, he was probably the one that I would have said could have been top. Cazorla could have been like, he would have been different, Mustafa. I get what you're saying. I think
more creative.
I think he would have been a lot more creative. He wouldn't have had. Like Yaya Toure was just everything. Balance-wise, he could drive from one end of the pitch to the other. I don't think that was Cazorla's game. I think he was good with the ball at his feet, master with it, could always pick an eye for a run, score goals. Very good finisher. I'm talking about someone that was very comfortable picking the ball up. Left foot, right foot, back of the net. Comfortable on both feet as well. We forgot to mention that as well. Top. I mean, he's a top player. I would put him in there. He's our first what if on the show. I would say big what if.
Over to you, Jem. What if player
Yeah, I mean, what we'll do is before we touch on to that, we'll go through mine, and then I don't know where Ads is. He was meant to join us, but I don't know if he's too busy at the moment. We potentially might open up the lines for you guys to have your big what if player. Come and have your say. We'll discuss it together. There's 21 of you here right now. So please can we hit that like button? I want to try and get to 30 likes as quickly as possible, please. Yeah, we'll open up the line after we've gone through my big what if of a player. We'll allow you guys to come and have your say as well. So I had a couple in my head. It was hard because I keep thinking like, oh, what I could talk about this one, I could talk about that one. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, we're going to keep doing these shows every weekend anyway. One of the big what if players for me has to be an individual that I think if he wasn't affected by injuries alone, he would have been spoken in the ranks of the Thomas Müllers for Germany. Like, you know, not the Mario Götze's, what's his name up front? Miroslav Klose's, like that type of mold, a German international striker that, you know, that were remembered for what they did. And the reason I don't think this guy will be as much is because he was let down. Very talented. The player that I'm talking about is Marcus Reus. Marcus Reus of Borussia Dortmund. Technically gifted, both feet. Again, a bit like Cazorla, can pick the ball up, play a ball in, right, left, sideways, whatever you want to do. The guy's ability to be able to score any type of goal, whether it was to be from outside the box, inside the box, free kicks. You know, he was quite tall as well, Royce. He's not a small player. You know, he, for me, would have got in front of Mario Götze in that team, in the Germany team. It's a shame that he didn't go to the World Cup in 2014 because he had such a sublime year before that as well. I would have put him... I honestly think that if he would have kept himself fit and he had no injuries whatsoever in his career, he would have been continue playing for Dortmund. Maybe have got himself a Bayern Munich move, but he would have been a regular in a Germany team. And even when he is fit, if you noticed, he still gets in the team. You know, Marcus Reus, he's top quality for me. And yeah, you know, I think he would be. I think he's definitely a big what if because he's just been hugely let down with injuries left, right, and centre with this guy. I don't know, Lance, what do you think about Marco Reus from Dortmund?
I like him, and obviously you can see that, you know, he's still got it. The potential's still there. Like the talent, you know, it never really kind of went, and you know he's still out there creating. But like it is really one of those what ifs. It's just he's never really had the opportunity to kind of hit the ground running, like you said, because he's just been plagued with all of these injuries, and it's just such a shame because, you know, we're sitting here thinking like, you know, could this guy have like potentially like led them to a trophy? He, you know, a regular call up for Germany on an international level. But it's difficult. Do you feel like he's got a chance to kind of redeem himself?
I think I don't even know how old he is right now. I haven't checked it. It'd be good to actually know how old he is. But I think he's at a point now where he has to look after himself because it's confirmed that he struggles. You know, sustainably being able to stay a bit like Christian Pulisic, being able to see a full season through without picking up an injury. I think the talent's there. Don't get me wrong, the talent's there by abundance. The guy should. Well, quickly, just 2 seconds. Man City confirmed all-time leader Sergio Aguero will leave the club at the end of the season. People, that's the big news here that Sky Sports have just dropped in on my phone just now. Sergio Aguero will be leaving Manchester City at the end of this season. So that really does set up Haaland, doesn't it? More so now, the fact that we know he's going. So the question is, where is he going? Maybe we'll talk about that a bit later on. But yeah, I do think, you know, the talent doesn't go away. You might get injuries, but you don't lose your talent. You know what I mean? It's one of them ones, really. I feel that he would have definitely been something big for Germany. And I think he would have been a valuable player. I know Germany have had top quality players in the past, but I just think that he would be more involved than people think if he didn't have the injuries that he did, because I think he was all round a very gifted individual. Now, people in the chat, let us know. What do you think? Is Marco Reus a big what if? Do you think he would have been one of the greats for Germany? Do you think he may have even got moved away from Dortmund if he continued, without these injuries? Let us know in the chat what you think.
Um, Touching on that point as well, what you said about Dortmund, they too have a history of, again, getting rid, selling their best players, and they always tend to kind of go to their rivals. So it's just kind of like once the player kind of reaches their pinnacle, we saw it with Lewandowski, we saw it with Mario Götze, we saw it with just countless players. There's just too many to name. So and obviously it's happening now with Leipzig, where Upamecano is now he's going to be joining Bayern Munich. So I do kind of agree with you in the sense that if he wasn't plagued with those injuries, that he probably would have maybe got a move to Bayern Munich. He would have become amongst those German greats that, the German national team pretty much makes up the majority of the Bayern Munich team. We remember those days very clearly. And you touched on a good point about his injury problems being similar to like the kind of issue we have with our player Christian Pulisic. And is it going to get to a point where we know the talent, the potential is there? Like we could be sitting here. Can you imagine doing a what if like about Christian Pulisic, like however many 10 years into the future because of what could have been, but because of all these injury issues, we saw his potential. We know how talented and gifted of a player it is. But for this majority of the majority of the season, and probably towards the end of the season, we've literally like wrapped him up in bubble wrap, and it's just we've not really seen like glimpses of the best because of this issue. So it really is like.
I see Ben Russell's in the chat. Let's bring up his comment. Ben, you're the one that helped us get this show idea, mate. So big up to you. Well done on that. Thank you for the idea as always, bro. We love our viewers. Like we said, we always listen to our viewers. If you have any ideas of shows that you would like GNA TV to create on your behalf, always reach out to us. You've got all of us on socials, reach out to us and we can definitely talk about it. And he's right. When it comes to Lewandowski and Marco Reus, they were deadly at Dortmund. When they were together, they were a pair. They were a pair that no team in world football would want to come up against. You know that. They just wouldn't. I know Chris Welch is saying, I wouldn't have seen Rice at Real Madrid if it wasn't injured. Yeah, I agree. I think he would have got a big move. I think you would have seen bigger teams than Dortmund going for him.
100%.
He's gifted. I really do think he's a top quality player, and it's a shame, and it is when you think about it, it's a real shame that these top quality players we're not going to be able to foresee the best of them. Do you know what I mean? And what they can bring to the game. But people, please smash that like button. We will be releasing the link in the chat, but I need to get to 25 likes, guys, man. Like we're not even on 20 yet. What's going on?
Guys, come on. Here we are listening to you, Ben, and the rest of our subscribers. So we're bringing you content that you want to see. So I agree with you, Jem. That is a really big kind of what if story. We could be sitting here like comparing him to the likes of Miroslav Klose, to Tony Kroos, to Lewandowski, but it's just the injuries, isn't it? And it really is one of those kind of what if stories. But before we kind of like open up the lines, I know seeing us like bouncing off what if stories, like before we went on the stream, I was talking to you about how I had like a short list. There was some like players I wanted to, I was thinking, oh, what if, like what could have been, like, oh, this, that, and the other as well. And I know there was a player that Ads wanted to mention, like so let's kind of talk about him because that's an interesting one. And seeing as Ads isn't there, I guess me and you can just kind of have a little open debate about it. But
we can do.
Mario Balotelli, and guys in the comments, let us know what you think. Is Mario Balotelli one of those players that, yeah, he had a pretty solid career, but could he have really been one of those absolute greats if it wasn't for...
I think Mario Balotelli's biggest letdown was himself, to be honest. If you look at him as an individual, what he brought to the game, very talented, top quality individual in terms of being able to... He had pace, he could score free kicks, he could score outside the box, inside the box, he could score headers, he could score volley. He could do everything you want him to do. But he had the attitude of someone like Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He wanted to be that kind of imposed player where, like this arrogant nature of him. But that arrogant nature of him actually ended up ruining his career in my eyes, because he thought himself so high already. He put his bracket of himself up to here already without actually getting to here. And that's what his biggest downfall, Mario Balotelli. Top quality player, but had a stinking attitude. I don't know if the viewers agree with me. Please let me know what you think of him as well.
Guys, please let us know what you think. That's a really, really good one, because obviously me and you both mentioned our what if players, and obviously their careers are obviously kind of interrupted by injuries. But this guy, his career was really interrupted by his ego, his attitude, like you said. And at the end of the day, he's somebody who, again, you're in a professional career and you have to be professional. And we've seen it in recent times at other football clubs, where obviously Arsenal have had a problem with what's his face, the one that's gone to Hertha Berlin. He's so Matteo Guendouzi, that's the one.
Right, okay, yeah.
You see what I mean? He's so relevant. But obviously, his absence has got, he was a, young upcoming player, supposedly, a hard worker. You can see his passion on the pitch, but he kind of ruined his chances for himself at Arsenal because of his attitude. And we've seen Mario Balotelli was doing absolute bits with City. Like he was helping them win titles. He was scoring goals left, right. He really had that potential to be that
key player, important player. Yeah.
What kind of striker am I kind of trying to compare him to? Like a Karim Benzema, basically, like a Zinedine Zidane. Like he had that potential to be that kind of striker. Do you know what I mean? And he had, like you said, he could have stayed with City, won more titles of City.
You know what?
Or he could, or like I said, he could have gone to another big team. Could have come in, paid the money for him, and he could have had a great career at another club. But it's one of those unfortunate situations where, he let himself down, and it's affected his career. It's kind of stalled his full potential.
I just saw something that Chris Welsh said. It was quite funny. He said, "Replace Suarez with Balotelli." He's right, he did, and that is look. One of his biggest issues was that he chose to always go against what the managers wanted him to do in games. And there was a funny story about him that Jose Mourinho told on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. And he's basically saying that in the Champions League against a certain team, I can't remember who, it got to half time and Balotelli was on a yellow card and it was 0-0. And this is when obviously Jose was at Milan. He had Balotelli, didn't he? And he sat down with Balotelli for 15 minutes. So the whole 15 minutes, but he didn't talk to any other player. He just spoke to Balotelli and he was begging him, saying, "Please don't do anything stupid. We need you on the pitch. Please, be careful. Please don't do that." He goes out after 15 minutes. Literally spent the whole 15 minutes talking to him. He goes out in the second half. Within about 5 minutes of the game, he gets sent off, and Jose Mourinho just starts laughing. He just thought it wasn't funny, but in his head, he just said he started laughing. He just literally like the guy's attitude to the game. Like, it doesn't matter how much you tell him, he just does not listen. Like, he's that arrogant that he just does not listen to what people say. And he's a definitely big what if. 1,000,001%. He's a big what if.
His attitude almost kind of reminds me a bit of like a Zlatan Ibrahimovic as well. Obviously, I don't think Ibrahimovic's attitude is like that bad. I think he's just very overly confident of himself. He just like really, really believes in his ability. That's why he just comes across in that way. But like you said, Mario Balotelli, he's just like, I don't think he has any concept of like understanding, like listening, and like knowing how to follow rules and instructions. He just does like what his conscience tells him to do. Do you know what I mean? So, and like you said, that's a problem in this game. So at the end of the day, you're not better than anybody else at the end of the day. So
I agree. What are we on? We're on 20 odd likes. We're 5 likes away, people. 5 likes away from 25. I did say I'd release the link in the chat to you guys.
think about this comment from Ben Russell?
It's another
So,
one. I agree.
yeah,
He was he was the same. He was so skillful, gifted. I remember seeing him at QPR, and he
yep.
had so much to offer, but it's like managers struggled to get him on side and get the best out of him again. And when he was good, he was unstoppable. Like he was that good. But when he was bad, he stank. Like he stank. That's how bad he was. And that was the issue. He stank more than when he was actually decent, if that makes sense. And dribbling ability was amazing. Again, very tall. Could pick the ball up, drive with the ball across the pitch. Very hard to defend against. I remember in games I used to see him get doubled up on. That's how much respect he actually did get at some point. But every manager seemed to struggle to get the best out of him, and that was I'd say the biggest issue with Tarabat, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's almost kind of like he was that star player for QPR. Everybody knows it. And, if he turned up, then the team turned up. If he didn't turn up, then, obviously it was what it was for QPR. But yeah, another one who just had a stinking attitude. So it just goes to show that in the game nobody is better than anybody. If always be yourself, play your game, let your football ability do the talking on the pitch, learn how to control your emotions. You guys have so much money, I'm sure they can afford therapy or some anger
Yeah,
management counseling, do you know what I mean? Putting them into those classes, teach them how to control, transfer that energy onto the pitch in another way,
yeah,
do you know? So, and at the end of the day, some people they genuinely think that they're above authority, and it's sad and upsetting in a way because it kind of prevents them from reaching their full potential. Taraptors, he's doing okay. Where's he at the moment?
Where is he? I don't even know where he is. I've not even followed him, to be honest. I don't even know where.
He's playing in a Europa League team or a Champions League team. I think I remember seeing him play in the previous European round. So
God
that's
knows.
interesting. People in
Right,
the comments, if you know, then tell
let
us
us
where.
know. I mean, we're on 21 likes. I mean, we might as well just release the
We
link
could.
because
Yeah, we could. Oh, yeah, plays for Benfica. There you go.
plays for
So,
Benfica as a DM.
yeah,
Does he?
as a
Does he? I didn't even know that. Okay, fair enough. It's interesting.
interesting. This is another interesting one as well. But guys, we're going to release the link into the
Let's get
chat.
the link in there because these guys are coming out with some good answers and they
Yeah,
probably want
very
to come
good.
and have their say. So come and have your say and give us your thoughts and we'll discuss it together, people.
What do you think of that, though? Hatim Ben Arfa.
He was
That
he
isn't.
was he was one. He was going to be one of my next. I don't want to talk about them all because I wanted to try and bring him in for next week, but this is someone that I wanted to touch base on and actually have a chat about. He. Let's go into it now. I want to save it, but he was a. This is put this way. He was very gifted, and again let down by injuries massively. Ram's joined us. How are you doing, Ram?
Hey, Rams.
Not too bad, not too bad. How is everybody doing? It's
Yeah, not
fine.
bad, mate. Not bad. What do you think of our new
I've-
show, the What If Show? You like it?
Yeah, I love it, man. I love the whole changing history.
Idea.
What happens if this happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great show.
wicked.
So
Us controlling history. I love it. Also, we're joined by Alex. Welcome, Alex.
Hey, Alex, what's happening, bro? You all right?
Hey, all good, all good. How are you guys?
Not bad, bro. Not bad. Ram. So, who is your What If player of this week, my mate?
this is gonna be a little bit off the cuff kind of player. I'm gonna go for Harry Kewell.
Oh,
A good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
So when we signed Harry Kewell, I think Jem Lambs, I think quite a lot of the older people would know the
Yeah.
guy was incredible.
Yeah, he
Like,
was.
He was everything you wanted in a winger. Like he could do the inside forward and he could do the gigs, natural crosser kind of thing. He was the complete winger. Like there was one game that typified him. It was against Arsenal. Always used to turn Arsenal defenders inside and out. And this was like good as well. Came to Liverpool. A lot was expected of him, but every time he played, he kept on getting injured. And his mentality sort of dropped after that. He didn't have the love for the game that he used to have. he sort of doubted himself as well. He always used to play in second gear because he was always worried he would get injured all the time. And personally, and this may be a little bit of a what do you call it? A little bit of a controversial opinion. If he wasn't injured, I think Liverpool would be walking away with 2 league titles when he was there. Honestly,
He,
you think about it, right?
yeah,
At the time when he was playing, he was meant to be playing wing. Steven Gerrard was playing wing all the time, and this is where he was putting up stupid numbers for a midfielder, a central box-to-box midfielder. Stupid numbers. And putting him in wing and putting Luis Garcia, Harry Kewell, there would be more emphasis on us getting a striker that Rafa Benitez always wanted, which was David Villa. Imagine a front three of Villa, Kewell, Garcia, and Gerrard in behind them. And the main problem for Liverpool was scoring goals. It was scoring goals. Our defense matched Chelsea's. I think the 2005-06,
was that when you had? Who did you have then?
Goals.
I'm trying to think. You had the Hoopier, wasn't it? Hoopier
and Jimmy Traore.
That's it.
And guess who will be playing left back
against them in the Champions League?
John Arne Riise will be playing left back.
I forgot. That's it. Yeah.
But he wasn't playing left back because he was covering for Kewell's role. And if he was playing left back, I think we would have. When Harry
Kewell came to Liverpool, I remember it. He took Liverpool to a next level. He came in and he not only did he contribute to goals, but he scored some worldies. I mean, the guy could score any type of goal. The guy's left foot was just a wonder. Honestly, I agree with Ram. If he could have kept fit, I don't know if I agree with Ram in terms of you could have won something then with him. I don't know. That is a big if when you think about it, isn't it? Big if, but
it was a huge if, but the caliber player he was, the pizzazz that he had, that's the kind of player that we needed.
You did at the time. You missed it.
And Gerrard was the only one that did it. Gerrard was the only one that had.
No, I agree.
And Kewell was meant to be that guy. Our goal scoring record was absolutely shocking. We had 67 goals in a season.
Is that when you had Cisse up front as well? If I'm right.
Cisse, I remember that. And these lot. And we were putting up the same numbers defensively. You guys got like 20 goals. We conceded about 23 or 22. We were matching you defensively. It's just that we didn't have a potent front line. And I feel like if Harry Kewell stayed fit, I think it may have been a different story.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was a top quality player, 100%. Go on, Lamswick, Sam.
Yeah, I want to agree with Rams actually here for once. I feel like with him being out the squad, I feel like Liverpool were like that creative.
They lost
there was nobody to bring the ball forward, so the strikers didn't really have anything to work with, and it is such a shame because I do remember that it was just the injuries, man. The injuries were killing him. It was just like he'd play like a few minutes in one game and just be like, next you'd hear he'd be out injured. He's out for like 4 or 5 games. He'll come back, play like half a game. He'll probably get injured during the game and like have to be taken off. It was really kind of sad, and I do agree because I think that's why kind of Liverpool suffered and they were never really able to kind of get to that next level in the Premier League. Like in cup competitions, they were doing amazing. Obviously, the previous season just before that, they had that amazing, legendary UEFA Champions League final where they overcame that 3-0 deficit. But yeah, they've always been that kind of team. But with winning the league, you need consistency. You need consistency. And that's literally what they have. So and you can see that was the issue that Arsenal kind of having right now, or what they were having at the beginning of the season, where the strikers weren't scoring goals because they had no creativity in the midfield. Yeah, defensively they were here and there, they were all right. They were conceding goals through individual mistakes and errors errors from midfielders like Xhaka, David Luiz, the usual suspects. But they were struggling to score goals as well because there was nothing in the middle. And I think that's what Harry Kewell offered Liverpool at the time. And that is a huge what if.
And maybe that's why the narrative started with the whole Gerrard thing.
Yeah,
this is when the narrative started with the Gerrard thing, where he used to carry that midfield. Like Xabi Alonso did help facilitate, but he was the driving force for that midfield. And Luis Garcia was a great goal scorer. Got his goals at crucial moments, but it was not enough in terms of a front line, especially with a front line.
When I
like
think
ours.
when I think
I
of
liked Lewis Garcia. Xabi Alonso was phenomenal. My God.
yeah, he was. When I think of Harry Kewell and his partnership that he had with Mark Viduka at Leeds, which
Oh
for
my
me
God, yeah.
that was. I mean, when Chelsea used to come up against that, and I used to shit myself. I'm not joking. That's when I used to be scared of Leeds. That's probably the only time I ever used to be scared of Leeds when watching them, because Mark Viduka had a goal in him. The guy was just a pure goal scorer, and then behind him he had a player not only could contribute to goals, but could lay it on the plate from him just with an instant like bit of quality, which is what he bought. And Liverpool saw that, and Liverpool thought, you know what? And I agree with Ram. We've got Steven Gerrard, but where else on that pitch do we? Where is the creator? Who is the creator? Xabi Alonso, people would say, would be another good shout, but for me, he was more deeper. He was more of like, what Jorginho does for Chelsea, where he gets the ball and he spreads it left,
Like a
right,
Busquets,
keeps the ball moving.
Busquets.
A Busquets kind of player, yeah. But what you needed was that further up the pitch. So when people were making runs behind the lines, they could make that pass, and that's what Harry Kewell bought.
Sorry, guys, I'll be back in a sec. Yeah.
Go on,
Yeah.
Alex.
All right.
I was gonna say he was a marketer's dream.
Mm.
Like he had the good looks, he had the hairstyle, he had the
Australian.
he's an Aussie as well.
Original owner of the top knot that Leeds United, the rocking
that hair. He loved his hair, didn't he?
And back then he had the mohawk as well. So he was a marketer's dream, but obviously the injuries didn't help him out, and he didn't get like.
What was his injury, Rap? Can you remember? Huh? What was his injury? I can't remember what. Yeah, because it was a severe injury, wasn't it?
I think it was a cruciate ligament. It was a cruciate ligament. ACL. He used to have a really bad ACL. Yeah. You always get injured because of that, and hamstrings as well. He didn't have very good hamstrings. So yeah. I think was the main injuries.
That's the thing. You get one injury like that, you come back and it just keeps occurring. It completely kills you. It does. It ends you. You lose pace. You use the when you get the ball, you lose the sort of quickness movement off the ball. Like like when you need to make that little move, like you just don't have that sharpness. That's the word.
And that's
sharpness
what he had.
anymore.
It was I literally just kind of googled it. So it was the
cruciate ligament.
Yeah, it was the it was actually there was a tear in the abductor muscle. And there was also a long-term Achilles tendon problem.
That's it. That's the killer.
Achilles.
The Achilles is the one.
He was the
Achilles.
He was the whole.
The tear in the abductor kind of almost finished him off.
Like literally, it was we made jokes about, because the old Greek saying, "The Achilles kills you." That was the best example about Harry Kewell. That's why. Yeah.
Big talent, a big what if for me. Someone that I think is great. It didn't even cross my mind. But you know what? There's so many players out there that we could actually talk about. I know we was running through them just now, but Alex is with us. Alex, who's your big what if player, bro?
Look, I wanted to do one where it wasn't really based on injuries, but actually based on kind of the mentality and the
that's fine.
And kind of the quality of the player that he could have been, based if he actually was just mentally he was just more like clever in a way of doing things, and that player was Balotelli.
Yeah.
Because I think Balotelli, he could have been one of the best players Serie A has ever seen. He, I grew up in Italy when I was younger, and but I also kind of supported. I was watching both leagues. So I was a Prem and in Serie A. So I was kind of supporting Chelsea and Serie A when I was younger.
Yeah.
And
because that's when Serie A was still quite really good at that time.
That was the time when Inter Milan had like Cambiaso, Lucio, Patrick Vieira, Maicon, Zanetti, and Balotelli was Milito. And Balotelli, he went to a team where there was so much experience in that team, and he went to that team. He was so good. He was incredible. He was literally outstanding, and he was just that kind of player who, with his feet, he was incredible, but he just didn't.
It's this.
In his
It's
head,
the
man,
arrogance.
he was just stupid.
Yeah.
He was just, and he let his career go down. He didn't take care of himself. If he had the mentality of Ronaldo, he could have been one of the best players. Like, trust me, he could have been.
Do you know what, Alex? Yeah, he reminds me of. When you think of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, right? You know, players that can be arrogant, but they can also carry themselves. So you know, like Thierry Henry, when he used to score a goal and he used to do that, but he knew he could do that because he would always consistently, you know, bring the goods. With Balotelli, it was the opposite. It's like he done it the opposite way round. It was like he came with all this arrogance, but he never really backed it on the pitch. And he thought he was up here when he wasn't really up here. He even got to that fucking point. He had to get to that point before he could start being arrogant. And he's the biggest root of his own downfall, Mario Balotelli. And anyone else, he as an individual player, you know.
He literally had everything. He had power, he had strength, he had pace. I think he went to a team who was winning at the time, and he just felt, okay, you know, I'm winning. But yeah, that was my kind of one thing. I can't really think of any other injury players. I think he did bring him up. Like, who was it?
The thing is, Alex, it ain't got to just be injuries. It could be what you said there, mentality issue. It could be choice of career. It could be that they took the wrong choice, that wrong path. Do you know what I mean? And they picked the wrong team, and it didn't really progress them as a player, for example.
Yeah.
So, people, please smash the like button. There's 25 of you here right now. Please subscribe if you're new here as well. Go on, Alex.
You know one player? He did have an incredible career, but I think if it wasn't for his knees and his knee injuries, he could have been one of the best strikers, or even one of the top 3 players of all time, R9. If he didn't get injuries and he didn't have this weight problem, and his knees were actually like, well, if we had an R9 in this decade, he would have been incredible, because obviously physios. The nutrition would have been better. So many things, like the technology, the science behind football would have been so much better. That back then, literally, man,
I think
I grew up watching him when I was younger. Like, he was probably one of my first ever, I don't know, players I admired when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6. You know, when I watching football and stuff. So,
I get that.
Just to add on the Ronaldo thing, I also have this thing where it's like, bro, you could have been the undisputed best. Because there was something like, if you listen to the interviews of his Brazilian teammates, they used to say he would do like 10 minutes of training, then he's done. Like, because he could do that because he's Ronaldo. But if he'd spent that much in training, putting the effort in, bro, you could have gone on to be the undisputed above Pele, above Maradona.
I was going to say, what bracket are you talking about here, Ram? Because for me, if you're talking about the best world 11, for me, for yesterday, for example, Terry put R9 as his best ever striker in world football. Like, I would probably do the same. I don't think I've seen, when he's fit and he's playing, and I'm talking about the player that you saw at Inter Milan, a little bit in Real Madrid as well, yeah? When he's playing and he's fit, for me, I've not seen a striker better than him. So for me, it's like he's shown that he's world class. Yeah. Some other individuals haven't done that. And, you know, a lot of the individuals that we spoke about have not got nowhere near that. But he already did. It's just that he couldn't sustain it because he picked up injuries. Do you know what I mean? So,
and I think because of the Brazilian media, there is always this love for Pele, and they think if Ronaldo did have that consistency, even after the injuries, 2 years or 3 years after the injuries, he still had it. But if he did it consistently, I don't think there's any debate between. You talk about CR7 and Messi compared to him. There's no debate, honestly. That's the sort of thing that I think the Brazilian media would have expected of him, because he was that good. He was that good.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Hassan's here as well, winter surfer. How you doing, boys? You all right? You good?
Yeah, all right, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Wicked. Hassan, who's your big what if of a player, mate?
I think this needs to be discussed. What if Neymar never left Barcelona? What if he stayed? Because I personally think if he stayed at Barcelona, he could have been like Ronaldinho level, maybe even above that. Because the talent he had, his first season, right? He was ranked 10th in Ballon d'Or with Santos? I think it was called. His first club. It's the one where Pele played out. He was ranked 10th there.
Mhm.
He was ranked
Yeah.
10th in Ballon d'Or, even though nobody knew at the time. He went to Barcelona, absolutely killed it with MSN. I believe if they stayed there, in my opinion, MSN probably best trio I've seen compared to Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano. But
Yeah.
everyone has their opinion. But the raw talent that guy had pulled the magic out of heart, like the 6-1 against PSG, free kick and everything. In my opinion, I think he would have been
See,
Ronaldinho level, if not the best.
I'm going to be the devil's advocate here because I've never really rated Neymar that much. I think he's
A
been.
lot of
I
people,
think he was a. I think he's a very good player. I don't think he's well. I honestly, genuinely don't think he's world class. That's just me. I don't think
no, but
Nah.
yeah, but you know, it is
his
up in,
mentality allows him to become a player in my eyes. Like you look at Ronaldinho, for example. I would take Ronaldinho over Neymar all day over the book. If you had a
Yeah,
prime Neymar or a prime Ronaldinho, who are you choosing? Let's be
Yeah.
serious. Yeah. And that's my issue because Ronaldinho sits the bracket, but we always talk about Neymar being world class. So if you're talking about him being world class, you're putting him in the same bracket as this guy. And I don't think he is. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I don't think he is
that's
within
why
that bracket.
that's why I said what if he never left Barcelona, because I think if he stayed there, he would have reached Ronaldinho's level, maybe even go further.
Honestly,
Maybe.
A lot of people said when he was at Barcelona, after Ronaldo and
This is the
Messi, who
comment.
was the best? Everyone said Neymar. Everyone said
Mm.
Neymar after Ronaldo and Messi.
honestly, in my opinion, I don't think he would have changed. Not because of how good Neymar is. I think it's the arrogance of Messi as well. I think what Messi should have done was given Neymar the reins of Barcelona as the guy
Mm.
for Barcelona.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that. And I think if he did that to Neymar, we'll still be seeing him at Barcelona in a Barcelona shirt.
Yeah. I hear
Yeah.
that. Winter Surfer, what do you think about it, mate?
Yeah, I've always I thought Neymar, it wasn't, he could have not gone to PSG. He didn't have to go to PSG, but he chose to. I think he thought he was going to win multiple Ballon d'Ors and Champions League by now, but it just never happened. I think Neymar is great, but it's like he's 98% great. Do you know what I mean? It's like he needs that extra 2% to get him over.
You know what it is? He
It's
reminds you of
just
like
that thing he's missing. He's
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunate. He's in the same sort of era as Ronaldo and Messi. He's very unfortunate in that end, but I just think he'll end up being like maybe when it's all said and done, everyone's maybe top 10 of all time. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He won't. For me, he will never be considered. And he's unfortunate now because you've got Mbappe and Haaland coming up as well. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
if he is like the best player in the world, it might only be for like 2 years or something like that until these guys come up and start banging. So
I agree.
I was yeah.
Go on, Hassan. Anything else you wanted to say on that one? Or are we done?
With the Neymar situation, I think it's like what you said. It's just unfortunate, really. He was in the era of Ronaldo and Messi, but I don't know. Maybe it's
Go on.
no. You go and say what
No, I
you
was
say.
going to ask you a question and say, if Neymar did stay at Barcelona, do you not think he was? I think he was important for Barcelona, but do you not think that it would have been like what Ram said, outweighed by the likes of maybe the Messis and the Suarez's at the time? Because you've got to bear in mind these guys were unbelievable. I know Neymar was as well. Don't get me wrong, but if he would have stayed on, would he have consistently been able to keep up with them in terms
Yes,
of the
I
talent?
believe he would, because
Yeah.
let's be real. Like like what I said before, with this, when they needed 6 goals, Neymar turned up. When Messi and Suarez don't turn up, Neymar is always the guy who turned up. Like they tore up the Champions League together. So I believe it would, but I think it was individual rivalry between them that caused them to like go separate ways and in a way decline.
I don't think he ever reached his potential. I think he.
No, he what I was gonna add to that, you just reminded me, he's basically like, in a way, like Hazard. Like he's got that like potential, that raw potential, but they never hit it. He's like Hazard or Ronaldinho. Like they've got that potential, but they don't have the mentality to unlock it, or to go further
Yeah.
and put themselves.
I hear that. Winter Surfer, who's your big what if of a player, bro?
Actually, someone brought up in the comment. My one is if Michael Essien hadn't got all those injuries.
Oh yeah.
Because for me, he was an outstanding player, and for me, it's a bit of a shame. For me, I'm not going to say well, but in the Premier League, I think he formed the best three-man midfield in Premier League history of Lampard and Makelele.
Yeah,
He was a powerhouse, man.
Bison.
Absolute power. Yeah,
What used to be
Bison
called.
was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And remember, in some of those seasons, he played right back as well.
He did. He was very versatile.
He scored a banger
Yeah.
against Arsenal, and he scored a winner against Valencia in a quarter final or something to get us through. But he just got devastated by knee injuries, man, on both his knees, just devastated.
Yeah,
and he was
what?
he was actually playing well when he was in the double season of Ancelotti, and then I think he got like a torn hamstring or something like that, and we just didn't see him, man. And we only got really 2 good seasons, I think we saw him for, and he was just exceptional. So for me, he got those injuries. He would have been talked about now.
Oh yeah,
as one of the best midfielders of all time.
Oh
yeah. I think he would have been our greatest ever player. I'm not even joking. If he didn't get injuries, I'm not even joking.
That's a big comment.
No, but he was so complete. He was so complete.
Yeah.
No, but he's so complete. We haven't had anyone as complete as him in midfield. I'll say that now.
I love Kante. I think Essien is better than Kante. Essien at full pelt is a better version of Kante, and I think Kante's right up there.
Do you know what made him so good was that he, like Kante can do. He runs the pitch. He covers every inch of the grass. Essien could do the same. But what Essien could also do is he could distribute.
Yeah.
He had the strength to battle against big midfielders, win balls off people. You tried to tackle the guy, you would fall on the floor. Not him. You would fall on the floor. He was built like a brick.
Yeah,
we talk about midfielders that can't play in certain positions in our current team. Yeah, this is a guy that can play in all 3 positions comfortably in his prime. Yeah, comfortably.
Hands down.
So, man.
Hands down.
And at right back.
The only time I see him look vulnerable was against Man United in the Champions League final because Cristiano Ronaldo had him in his pocket down that right back wing, and then obviously he scored against him. But he was out of position. Don't get me wrong, but no, for me, I can't even think of him. He's a big what if player, Michael Essien, because he had all the talent in the world. And Slins might be right. Maybe he could have been Chelsea's greatest
He'd
player
be up there.
in many ways. He'd be up there, at least with the Lampards. Lampard will always be there, I think, and the Drogbas and that because of what they done for the football club. But it's a shame. He's a big shame, isn't he? But he was next to the Lampards, the Balaks, the John Obi Mikel's, wasn't it? Makelele's. Deco as well. Forget about Deco.
Yeah, he was awesome. Just an awesome player, man. Absolutely awesome.
I agree. Anyone else have anything to say on that one?
No, I honestly, I feel like he would literally have gone down as literally one of the best midfielders in the world, elite level. Just a shame, but he did a job when he was rotated in the squad at Chelsea. He did a solid job. He was reliable. Shout out to this comment, mad genetics.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was one of the greats.
Who was it that tried to get him before us? Can you remember? It wasn't because I always get the Man United story mixed up, but that was with Mikel, wasn't it? Because I remember Mikel was meant to go Man United and Chelsea picked him, but I'm sure someone tried to take him from us originally. Might have been Spurs. I can't
only looking back on it now, it's only £24 million we spent on him.
Imagine Spurs knocking out your door for an Essien. Everyone would be laughing.
In 2005 as well, yeah. In 2005.
Come on, man.
Ahmad's joined us. Ahmad, how you doing, man?
I know why he's joined us.
I'm doing good, man. Everything good.
Ahmad, who's your big what if of a player, bro?
I don't have a player. I just think you guys disrespected Neymar. That's why.
Exactly. That's why I came on as well. That's why I came on as well.
I think the disrespect was unreal, man.
His Neymar siren, his Neymar alarm went off.
Why is it when we mention a player that's represented PSG, you appear at nowhere and start defending him? I've noticed this.
The back signal.
But to put name on the same sentence as Hazard as failures, for me is crazy.
Oh, we didn't. No.
Wait, the guy has been in Real Madrid, has been absolute flop. He's shit when he plays. How do you compare with Neymar?
Premier League and won PFA Players of the Year over there.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Don't compare PSG French league to English football. Yeah, this is.
Ahmed, do you know what I'll say, bro? Do you know what I'll say? Both in their prime, it's close. It's close. It's not as far as
it's not close. Hazard's better than
Neymar's prime was one of the best things I've seen. Bro, his prime when they won the treble, he was probably the best player. If you look at the knockout game,
and Neymar, man.
Yeah, but he was the best.
If you look at carrying us.
No. If you look at the knockout game, but what did he win? He won the Premier League only. I'm talking about the treble.
He won the Europa League. He won the Premier League. He won PFA Players of the Year.
2 Europa Leagues.
2 Europa Leagues. Sorry. Come on, man.
And the thing with like Neymar, people talk about when he left Barcelona. He didn't get worse. He got better when he left Barcelona. So how is it a what if?
What do you mean? He got to PSG. He got injured for how long?
What we're saying that he could have even reached higher heights. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, no, he couldn't have.
He could have had a greater legacy.
He's a good player, but he could have.
No, but you guys need to remember, if he stayed at Barcelona, he would always be in Messi's shadow. So even if he stayed in Barcelona, he would always be in his shadow.
Ahmad, do you know what I'd say, bro?
I think he needs Messi's shadow.
I think people were kind of saying that Messi was also kind of in the wrong, where he should have kind of realised to step back and let Neymar take over.
That was the main problem.
And for Neymar to want to reach his potential, he knew it wasn't going to happen whilst Messi was still there. So, like, he would never be the main man.
My point is
why the move happened.
My point of that, Lamb, is okay, cool. You're playing with Messi. You know you're not going to be better than him. So go to another team that's competing on all fronts in a better league and go and prove it there. Why go to PSG when they win it every blimmin' year?
No, but Jem, if Neymar wins the Champions League,
he doesn't stand out from it. He was doing it with Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
No, but if Neymar wins the first CL for PSG, it would be such a big CL compared if he won another one with Barcelona. Or if he went to Real Madrid and won the 14th one. The one with PSG will build your legacy if you win the one. And that's why, like, last year, he carried us. He didn't carry us, but in the front line, Mbappe was shit. And Neymar was the only player who scored. That's true.
Fair enough.
But,
listen,
like,
to back
Neymar
you
was
up,
the best player.
To back you up, bro, do you know what I'll say? I'll say, for me, the way we look at it, he left a super team, right, with Suarez and Messi. And he went to a team where he wanted to build his own franchise, build his own legacy, right? And you know what? Even though it's a lesser league, you have to respect the decision because he wanted to win that first Champions League. And listen, it might still happen. For me and Ahmed, I'm pretty sure we both agree that I think he's the best player in the world. People might disagree with me. But the reason he's a what... Yeah, let me finish. The reason he's a what if is because not everyone thinks that. Everyone should think that, but because he hasn't performed in certain moments,
and he's been injured, Slens. How long's the man been injured?
Yeah, he's injury prone.
Injuries have held him back massively.
But Jem, his injuries different. His injuries different.
No, hold on. Did you see the tackle? Did you see the tackle that he got injured from? It was ridiculous. The tackle he got injured from. This injury here.
Neymar is not eating burgers. Neymar is not eating burgers and getting injured.
Yeah, but Hazard's got a better injury record than Neymar. Yeah, so that's why people think he's better.
If you
doesn't take his sister's birthday up to go touch her up.
The French league.
Oh my god.
The French league is very different.
Oh my god.
The French league is very different. Like, if Neymar embarrasses you in the French league, they want to hurt you because they don't want to get embarrassed by Neymar. So the disgusting tackles that Neymar receive each game, and he doesn't even get protected by
referees. Same with
Hazard. Premier League, bro.
And I agree with you, but the tackles Neymar has lead to his injury. It's not like he's performing bad because when he performs, he's the best player on the planet.
Neymar should never come to the Premier League. That's why Hazard's got broken ankles now.
Because Neymar falls over so much that he falls awkward and injures himself.
It's not what.
When Hazard falls over, because Hazard was the most fouled player in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. People keep forgetting this. The guy used to get kicked. I've seen him get kicked in there. I'm talking about proper kicks, yeah? In the English Premier League, you get kicked the crap out of, yeah? I remember seeing him against Stoke, running against Barnsley in the corner, and he just literally didn't even go nowhere near the ball and just kicked him, and he landed. Do you remember that? He landed in his face.
Ridiculous, man.
But Neymar isn't a similar dribbler. They're not similar dribblers. Neymar is the guy, the ball sticks to his feet. Like, the people can't get the ball from him, so the only way they can get a ball from him is to tackle him.
Same with Hazard, bro.
But Hazard is more of a... He will dribble through you. I don't know how to explain it, but
he's a dribbler.
The main difference between Hazard and Neymar, is that Neymar is an elite finisher for me. Like when he gets in front of the goal, and what Hazard isn't. Yeah, Hazard isn't. Yeah, Hazard's
Hazard's too unselfish.
No,
Yeah.
bro. That's a criticism in itself, though. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's a criticism.
And Jem,
He should try
how
and
can
score
you
more.
how can you say he's not world class? That was the most criminal thing you said.
I don't
Oh,
think
that's
he
mad.
is
Not world class.
Jem, that's mad. Jem.
Not world
I
class.
don't think he's
No.
world class. I think he's a top player. I just don't think he's my world class is different to your world class.
It's a warrant out for you, Jem.
I know.
So-
For
Wait,
me,
wait,
I would
Jem, I
say
have a
top
question
5
for
in his
you.
position.
Was there a period when Neymar was world class for you?
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Oh, so when he moved to PSG, he's no longer world class.
I don't think he was
Jem,
world
can I
class
ask you a
at
question?
PSG.
He's
Is
For me,
Ronaldinho world class?
wait a sec. For me, if you're world class, you've got to sustain it.
But Jem, he's better
wherever
now.
it is that you want
No,
to
hold on,
stay
Ahmed.
at.
Ahmed.
It's-
Oh, bro,
Is Ronaldinho world class, Jem? Is Ronaldinho world class?
Don't even put Ronaldinho and Neymar in the same bracket. That is
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous.
Neymar has
They're
better
not.
talent.
They're not the same
The-
bracket. They're not. But he's close to him. In my opinion, he is.
He's not even close.
He's
He's
nowhere
the
near
closest
it.
thing.
James, he can't tie.
He's
you
the
can't
closest
tie
thing we've
Ronaldinho's
seen to
shoes.
Ronaldinho. The closest
No,
thing
he
we've
can't.
seen.
You can't brush
I
his
don't,
teeth.
I
Not
don't
gonna be
know,
close to him, you know
bro.
what I
I
mean?
don't
No, he
know.
is. He's the closest
Nah.
thing we've ever seen to
Nah,
to
he's not.
Ronaldinho.
No,
He's
bro.
not
I,
safe.
I
He's
think
not
I
safe.
think it's closer than you
It's
guys think.
No,
bro.
it's not.
Very close.
It is.
I
It
think
is
he's
not
overthinking.
close.
It is.
Is.
It's not close at all.
Ronaldo-
Because
Ronaldinho is
Ronaldinho
my
only
goat, by
had
the
the
way.
prime.
That's my goat.
Ronaldinho had the prime. He didn't consistently play this good like Neymar has done. Like Jim, you're
Neymar's
saying
not
that
being
he
consistent.
has been
Yes, they're being
consistent.
Oh, come
consistent.
Andrew,
on.
the
He's
guy
not.
has
Don't
been
say that,
scoring,
I'm sorry.
assisting all. Like Jim, you are thinking that Neymar is getting worse. The guy has been better than ever right now.
No, I'm not saying he's getting worse. I'm just saying he's not, for me, continued with the standards that he did at Barcelona.
But he's better
Since he's left
than in Barcelona.
I don't think he was.
I don't think he
All right,
is.
maybe I
So
don't
So
watch enough
basically,
French football. Maybe that's my problem.
Basically, Jem is saying that PSG is a small club. That's why Neymar's not.
But compared to Barcelona,
Not a
they
small
are.
club, but I don't
Let's
think
be
he watched the
serious.
French league.
But- No, maybe it is that, Ahmed. But you've got to bear in mind as well, he was injured a lot at PSG. He was injured a lot. How long was he out for, you guys? I remember he was gone for
No,
months.
I agree with you.
Really?
He has been flopping with the injuries, but when he wasn't injured last season, we came to the final. So
Yeah.
that's for me is a notion that this guy is that good, so he can take a team to the final like that. For
He's
me,
got
guys
to
wanna
back
hear a
up
fun
in
fact?
the final. He's got to back up in the final, though. I mean.
Yeah, I
he does.
agree.
He
That's the
does.
thing.
There's no point getting
That's
there.
the
He's got to do it in the final.
You've got to do
No,
it.
but
That's the
he-
only thing missing.
he did it in Barcelona in the
Ahmed,
final.
he's right. He wins Champions League at PSG. It's bigger than the one at Barcelona. It's
Yes.
bigger
Yeah, I
than the
agree.
one at Barcelona.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
big.
100%.
That's the whole thing as well.
You know,
That's the whole thing as well. People,
Yeah.
it's the same as City, and it was the same with us before we won it. It's the disrespect to PSG and Man City because they haven't won a Champions League yet. They win the Champions
Yeah.
League, the status of that club changes, and the respect goes to that club.
Facts.
Yeah.
It goes to that club.
But you know, interesting fact about Neymar. He only played less than 50% of games that Tuchel managed at PSG,
Yeah.
which is mad.
Yeah, it's mad.
Which is
It's
mad,
bonkers.
yeah,
It's
it's mad.
bonkers.
Well, because
And he's getting older.
Because of injuries,
So
his
the injuries
absences.
he's getting older, so the
Really?
injuries he gets will
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
longer to recover from.
Okay.
He's getting older,
Yeah.
so it'll take longer
But
to
Tuchel's
recover
just a
from.
good manager, so he didn't really need Neymar in his team. So
But
Ah,
what we
come
see,
on.
if you-
Everyone needs Neymar in their team.
I think
Everyone
if he
needs
wanted to
Neymar.
become, I think if he wanted to become the best player ever, he should have just come to Chelsea. But you know, it's another story.
That's facts. That's facts.
we nearly got him, Jim. We nearly got him. Just a couple more dinners with his dad. And we nearly
This
got
is
him. Do you know what I mean?
this is when he'd left the Brazilian team, Sao
Yeah.
Paulo, wasn't it? If I remember saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
Santos, yeah.
Santos, is it? Oh yeah, that's it, Santos. Lens,
Yes,
your
bro.
big what if of a player, bro. Who do you want to talk
Do you know
about?
what? I'm going to tweak the rules here a little bit. I'm going to do a what if scenario. So the
Go on.
what if for me is what if Aguero signed for Chelsea in 09? Because we had the news about today. I think we wouldn't have to suffer through Morata or Timo Werner now, Batshuayi, all of these really rubbish strikers that don't compare to him.
Torres.
Torres. I think we would have been set for the next. Well, listen, it's 2021, right? Like that's 11 years of Aguero. We could
I
have
don't
been
even
Champions
wanna-
League
I
winners.
don't
multiple
even want to
Champions
think
League
about
winners.
it, Lens. It makes me feel
Yeah.
sick even thinking about it. To be honest, like,
Worst
But how-
transfer
wait,
decision we
but
ever
how-
made. Worst transfer decision.
Guys, I have a question though.
37 million.
I have a question. I have a scenario. Would you guys have rather signed Aguero or kept KDB?
signed Aguero,
Fuck that.
Sign Aguero.
100%.
Signed Aguero, yeah.
Sign Aguero. It's not even
100%,
close.
yeah.
It's not even close.
Our biggest
Sign Aguero.
issue was we haven't replaced a striker since Diego Costa, and we've struggled even to this day. And how long ago was that? Do you know what I mean? We're still struggling now to do it.
4 years
So-
ago.
Last time we won the league. Last time we won the league is in Costa. so
Exactly.
it's a link,
Exactly.
man. There's a link there.
It's. I agree.
Yeah, that might be like
Trust me.
a good thing to kind of speak about as well. Like obviously Aguero, that news that Jem said in the beginning of the show, where Aguero, is confirmed that he's leaving City at the end of the season. That now means there's more competition for a striker like Haaland. So yeah.
But
We always knew this.
lads,
We knew
if we
this
don't, if we
already.
don't
They're
get
going after
Haaland,
Danny
why
Ings,
don't we
it's
just
all
go
right.
and get Aguero? I would have him.
I would
in
as
the-
well.
Why not? Just back
Great
him.
backup
Have him in the
striker.
team.
Great backup striker.
Lambs City are getting Danny Ings. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's all good, all right? It's all good.
Yeah, but like, I wouldn't. I'll get Aguero in if we let like Tammy Abraham or Giroud go, but I would never want to just have Aguero if we let the other players go.
Oh, yeah.
Aguero has to
Okay.
be like a, because he's gonna be injured for half the season. Like, he's not.
Yeah, he's
you know what I
second
mean?
choice.
Just bring him on. Just bring him on. Like, just wait. Like, just don't play him the whole season. Just bring him on and like that game.
It's
you need
10 years
to-
too late.
to win.
Listen, as long as he teaches Timo Werner to score, man, I'll be happy.
Don't you start. Don't you start. No,
I had
look,
to, I had
do you
to.
know what? The thing I would question with
Bloody
the
missed
whole
again.
Aguero.
Bloody missed a shot again against Germany, man. I'm getting so
Yeah, I know. The thing I'd question Aguero with is if he came to Chelsea back then and he didn't go Man City, would we had the firepower to create as many goals as Man City did for him?
Yeah.
And would you have
But you
scored
have-
as
you
many
have to
goals
remember,
as he
Jem,
did for Man City? For Chelsea?
Pellegrini isn't the most attacking manager. He's also kind of defensive, I'd say. And he was like he wasn't his best. Actually, he was at his best on the I'd say at Pellegrini. Like that was one of his best seasons. So I think he's the kind of guy who works in
Shit,
any
Lens,
system.
I
man.
just remembered. Can you imagine Fabregas next to him? Oh my god.
And Hazard. And
Oh my god.
Hazard
We had
and
Cesc
Mata.
Fabregas.
And
No,
Mata.
no, Drogba,
Oh
no,
my.
Drogba.
Just imagine him with
Hazard,
Drogba, yeah.
Hazard, Fabregas, and
You
Aguero.
guys are
Imagine
throwing
that.
crazy what if stories, mate.
Listen, this is the show, man.
I love it.
This made me feel
Perfect.
sick.
Look
Ah.
up, just inventing.
We've suffered, man. We've suffered with strikers, man. We've suffered.
Have you
So
done-
have Liverpool
have
as
you
well,
really-
weren't they, Ram?
I mean, Torres, Suarez, Owen,
Ngog,
Fowler. I mean,
Warren
Ngog.
Babel.
I think
Ngog.
Babel's a
Balotelli,
winner.
Origi,
Babel's a
Origi,
winner.
Ngog,
yeah, Origi.
Ngog,
Yeah.
Balotelli,
No, Riga's a cold hero, man.
Ricky
Can't
Lambert,
sleep.
Ricky Lambert,
I
Ricky
mean,
Lambert,
Suarez.
Riedler,
Andy
yeah.
Carroll.
Firmino goals.
Andy Carroll,
Wait,
Carroll.
put some respect on Riedler's name, bro.
Andy
Nah,
Carroll,
he
yeah,
was-
Andy Carroll, yeah.
Mario Balotelli.
Mario Balotelli, yeah.
That's the best one.
Benteke.
Benteke. Oh my god, you had Benteke, didn't you? Oh shit.
That is well, actually.
Don't forget Ian Rush as well. Ian Rush. Yeah.
Oh, don't
For
go
God's
that far
sake.
back. Come on, man. Have some
Hey.
shame.
What do you mean,
About 3
shame?
generations
He played
ago,
in the
Ram.
Premier League. He played in the Premier League, so he counts. So yeah.
Ian Rush, you know.
Ian Rush.
Say no more. Peter Osgood for Chelsea. You
Oh,
know who
yeah,
that is?
yeah,
I'll go back that far, yeah.
Yeah. Peter Osgood, yeah.
If you had the opportunity to take Eden Hazard back from Real Madrid, would you do it, guys?
No.
As a backup.
Yeah.
It'd
Yeah,
have
as
to
long
be-
as you
it'd have
if
to
he
be
can stay
loan.
fit.
It's a loan.
Yeah.
It has to be a loan, not a payment. Have to be
Yeah.
I genuinely think, yeah.
I genuinely think like he's not the same player that we let go. He's so much more
Yeah.
injury prone, and we already have that current problem with Christian Pulisic. And
Yeah.
again, this is a great what if. What if Christian Pulisic didn't have all of these injuries? Like, what if he
Yeah.
can literally just bounce on from that Christian Pulisic we saw at the back end of last season? And that's
Yeah.
and obviously now we're sitting here thinking, do we cut our losses? Do we just get rid of him in the summer transfer window and get in somebody who's a little less prone? But we know obviously what if, because we know his potential. Like we know, and that's another issue that we as Chelsea are going to probably have to sort out in the summer. And that's a big what if we let him go and then suddenly he regains fitness and he's just absolutely firing for another club. We're just going to look like the dickheads who let him go. But
Especially
if
Liverpool. He's linked with
We've done that
Liverpool,
already with a number of players,
Yeah.
haven't we? If you think about it, Salah, KDB. Look at Lukaku. I don't even like Lukaku, and even he's playing well this season. Do you know what I mean? Like,
He'll be
So
back, don't worry.
the
He'll
thing
be
is,
back.
we
He'll
have
be
to
back.
patient, we have to be patient as
he ain't
fans.
coming back.
he is.
I don't want him. I don't want him.
I know you don't, man.
want him.
Dude,
You might not have any
Ahmad.
choice.
Yeah.
Who is PSG's greatest ever player, mate, in your eyes?
Will be where, innit?
I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna be biased and say Zlatan.
Okay,
Just
cool.
because I'm
Where?
Swedish.
Okay.
Ahmed,
No
I've got
way.
a shout
I'm
for you.
Swedish.
I've got a shout for you. Verratti.
Actually, Slens, I
Thiago
was about
Silva?
to say it because if Verratti didn't have injuries, he would be the best midfielder of our generation this decade.
Yeah.
I promise you that. Like this guy is the best midfield in the world when it comes to ability, cleverness, everything in the midfield, and he can play in every position. When people talk about Pogba being the best midfielder ability-wise, then you don't know what a midfielder is supposed to do. It's not all about skills. A midfielder should be clever, the press resistance, everything that
Short tempo,
Verratti
yeah.
do, he does 100 times better than Pogba. So
Yeah.
if
Say
this
again.
guy didn't have the injuries, like he also is like Neymar, he plays like 60% of the games, 70% of the games.
Shame
If we,
because
ju-
I rate him
it
so
would,
highly. as
and we
well.
didn't even have him in the
Right.
CL final last
Yeah.
season or in the whole campaign. So if this guy was fit, man, I'm telling you, the next Xavi or Iniesta.
Stens is
I can't
Stens'
believe
trolls
this.
in the chat again.
I can't
Yo,
believe this.
Stens, bro, what's wrong,
Stens.
man?
These people, man. Jobless. That's what it is,
What
man.
is this? What is this?
Man's a
You nailed it, Slens. You absolutely nailed it. Job
Nah, I
done.
don't want to make it like this, man. This is ridiculous, man. Taking
See you
screenshots
guys,
of
see you
me.
guys later.
See you later.
Yeah,
Andrew.
See you later. People, please smash that like button. Nearly at 40 actually. So yeah, please get hitting that like button. Yeah, guys, I know there's much more to say. Really, anyone else want to drop a what if before we go? Any what
Yeah.
ifs, Ram? Touch your head?
What if
What if Ram was a Chelsea fan rather than a Liverpool fan?
what if
Oh,
what
no,
if Jens
no.
Lehmann didn't get a red card in the Champions League final?
What?
What if Lehmann didn't get a red card for Arsenal in the Champions League final?
They'll still
they
lose.
still lose the game, yeah, because they're botless.
But then-
That's
That's like saying what if the ghost goal didn't count?
Ooh.
No, but you know what about the ghost goal? You know he was going to get a red card because he took him down before.
What?
So,
What about
It would have
this?
been a penalty. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
this?
guys, I have to head off though. Thanks for having me on, yeah? Honestly, thanks for having me
Thanks.
on.
See you in a bit, man. Take care.
What about
See you
this?
later, bro. Take care. See you later, man.
What if England beat Portugal on pens in 2006?
Ooh. That's
I don't think it
good
would have
one.
changed much. I know
Yeah,
what
we
you're
would
saying.
have gone out the next round.
What,
Yeah,
what,
we
if,
would've
what
just-
if England actually? What if Harry Kane passed the ball to Sterling for a tap in the semi-final?
Yeah, that's a big
He was
one.
still sky over the bar. He's still sky.
Did you see the game against Lyon?
There's the reason.
Any
Yeah.
final what ifs, guys?
I love the way we're using this what if though, you know. It's not even just about individual players. We're talking
Oh.
about moments. We're talking about
What
their
about-
careers. We're talking
what
about
if-
go
What
on.
if Gerrard and Lampard would have worked?
I think they could have worked, Ram. I actually think they could have. I just think we had the
They
wrong
should have
manager.
They should have
Yeah,
worked.
we had the wrong manager who couldn't get them to work, and I don't know why. And I think Lampard actually had this discussion on BT Sport. It was actually, they were actually having an interview about it, and he
I'll
actually
do you-
said
I'll do you
specifically
one
about
further.
it.
I'll do one
Go
further.
on.
What if England played Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes in a midfield three?
I don't think that would work.
Really?
Because
You don't
who's your
think?
who's your holder though? Are you saying Gerrard's your
Just
holder?
delude the United fan.
No, Scholes would be more or less the holder because we're going to be controlling possession, and Gerrard will be the box to box, and Lampard will be more of your last minute goal, like last minute.
See,
get
Man
in the
United
box
fans
and
would argue
midfielder.
with you that he's that the number 8 role is better for Scholes than it is sitting. A lot of Man
Well,
United fans
not
argue.
in
that.
2000, not in 2006. No.
Yeah.
Gerrard could be his legs. Gerrard could be his legs.
I think England could have won. I think England could have won a World Cup. You know, I think they just had poor management. I think if you look at that team on paper, I think probably that team on paper was probably the best team to win. What was it, 2006?
2006.
Yeah, it
So
was.
the time when
6.
Italy won it, the time, like for example,
Yeah.
Italy's team weren't that good, but they won the World Cup. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even.
Do you remember when Lampard?
Ooh.
What if
like,
Lampard's?
they were underdogs, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They weren't, like, favourites.
What if Lampard's shot that hit the bar and went over the line against, was it Germany? Counted.
Germany was given. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
I
true.
mean, to be
Is that-
honest, I think we'll still be peppered by them. Honestly,
I think it was that incident that kind of led to the goal line technology thing kind of being introduced, and obviously that's kind of helped change the game. So if that didn't happen, then I don't know.
This
we'll
one,
be having this debate.
this one pains me to say it, but I'm going to say it, and only Chelsea fans can relate to it. What if John Terry didn't slip?
Yeah.
What if John Terry didn't slip? Oh
That's
man,
One man, I saw that. I put that up
that made me
earlier.
feel sick.
Okay,
That made me feel sick with that one. I've never felt more ill after a game than that one because it was
If-
the
if-
last penalty. It was the 5th penalty as well.
If
And I was
I
just
if I
like,
was a manager, I would never let my centre back take a penalty. I don't care how confident you are.
he
I
wasn't meant
want
to,
my
Ram.
best.
It was because Didier Drogba slapped Vidic in the face. He was meant to have took the 5th penalty.
Right.
He got
He
sent
was
off.
stupid. He was so
That was a harsh one, Andrew. That was a real harsh one. We were having such a good show as well.
Well, technically, Jem came up with it, so yeah.
What if Terry didn't slip? What if Gerrard didn't slip as well, eh? Maybe they would
Yeah.
have won the
Well,
league earlier.
What if Gerrard didn't slip? We would have still fucked up somehow. Knowing our team, we would have still fucked up.
Listen, people, thank you very much for tuning into GNA TV. This has been the first What If show, one of many. I think we'll probably do it every once a week, providing we can fit it in along with, obviously, because the Premier League's back this weekend. So we've still got an afternoon Prem show to do this week. Lambs has got the host, the lady show to do on Fridays. The debate show's back on Saturday as well. We've got 2 big debate shows here. I haven't decided which one to seriously use, but it's going to be a big one. And yeah, guys, Ram, Alex, and Ahmad, thank you as always, guys, for coming on. Lambs, thank you for being here as well, as always. We'll see you again very, very soon. Yeah, see you later, guys. Peace.
It's like it's free time when it's free time. In the dance, they have to joke a glance, we stepping on